Hello and welcome to week 8. So once you get through this week, you are officially halfway through the course. So take a deep breath because you are doing a great job. The next couple of weeks are going to be a little bit assignment heavy, but if you can make it through these next few weeks, then I think you will find that you can take a deep breath the last few weeks of the course. So this week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be combining the knowledge that you got from Chapter 9, as well as the information that you're learning about the activity center that you chose, with information from Chapter 6, which is about observation of children. So one of the most important things to know that especially in early childhood education, the best way to assess children is through observation. There's absolutely nothing you can't learn about a child simply from watching them, listening to them, interacting with them. And so you really want to make sure that you read through Chapter 6 so that you understand how to observe. One of the main things that's so important is being objective, and that means that you're just simply reporting what you see. You're not trying to assign any kind of judgment or make an assumption about anything. That's the way that an observation can be considered reliable and valid. Think of it this way. If I write down what I see, is this what somebody else would report as well? And so that's a really important concept to take with you as you're getting ready to work on the observation assignment, which I'm going to introduce to you this week. So last week I had asked you to sign up for an activity center. If you had not done that, please make sure that you do that, just so that I'm sure that all of the centers are being represented. Again, all you had to do was go to the people link and you would see a tab that said groups, and then the 9 different activity centers should have popped up, and you just needed to click join to let me know that was the center you were going to be working on. Remember, this is not a group project. It's just so that I am sure that not every single person is going to do the art center. And so you're going to find a lot of information about what is supposed to be in your particular activity center, but the observation assignment is going to allow you to branch out and also look at other aspects of the classroom environment. And that's why it was so important that we did Chapter 9 as well as Chapter 6 before I introduced the observation assignment to you. So when you look at our weekly page, you're going to find, again, that we're going to be looking at observation and assessment. And so we are looking at Chapter 6, and I have uploaded the PowerPoint for you. Just remember to not rely on the PowerPoints. They just are kind of meant as an aid for you to pull some of that important information out. But the big thing from this week is going to be the observation assignment. And so that's what I'm going to spend the rest of the video talking about. Your participation for the week is, since we're at the halfway point, I'm asking you to send me an email about what has had the most impact on you so far in this course. And so that's all that you have to do in order to get your full participation for the week, and continue working on your activity center project. But the observation assignment, which you will be doing an observation assignment in every CHD class that you take, but this one really is focusing on the classroom environment, which goes along well with Chapter 9. So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be spending 2 hours in a classroom, in an early childhood, high quality classroom. And you're going to be looking at lots of different aspects of the classroom environment. So if you look at the resources, again, we're using Chapter 9. This is a PowerPoint that I would definitely recommend reviewing just because it's going to give you some additional information. This is actually a detailed instructions PowerPoint that I created. I would highly recommend that you view this before you go do your observation, because for each one of the things that you're looking for on the chart you're going to be filling out, I have told you in my detailed instructions exactly what to look for. So you are definitely going to want to review that before you go out and do your observation. I have an observation letter for you that you can print and take to the center that you decide to do your observation in, that just kind of explains you're going to be coming in for 2 hours. You're not going to be sharing any of your information. It's not meant to judge or to critique. It really is just a chance to practice seeing what we're talking about in the class put into practice in the classroom. And I have a template for you to make sure that you have completely filled out everything. So just a few things, a few nuts and bolts before we get into the actual assignment. You need to complete this observation at a high quality center. And in early childhood education, there's 3 ways that that can be done. The first is if they're NAEYC accredited. The second is if they're participating in Virginia Quality, or if they participated in what was called the star rating program, which was what Virginia Quality now is. It was the first round was the star rating. Now it's Virginia Quality. And then the third is licensing. Now, licensing is actually the bare minimum. We prefer that you go to a center that is NAEYC accredited or participating in Virginia Quality, but at a bare minimum, it has to be licensed. The other thing to keep in mind is if you are wanting to do your observation at a place that you work at, ethically, you cannot complete the observation while you're being paid, and you also cannot complete it in the classroom that you work in. Again, that's an ethics when it comes to the pay, and the objectivity is where we try and make sure that you go into a different classroom, because it's really hard to be objective in your own classroom because you know why you did things a certain way. For the purpose of the observation, I'm asking you to go in with no knowledge of what's going on to be able to analyze and critique what it is that you see in that classroom. So if you've never had to do an observation before, I have created a helpful place to get you started. And so this is if you look right here for find a high quality center, if you're looking for a NAEYC accredited center, if you click here, it's actually going to take you to a website where you can either type in a zip code, you can type in the name of a center, and it will give you all of the centers that are NAEYC accredited in that particular area and a particular radius if you put that in. If you want to, if you don't find one that you're interested in and with the NAEYC accreditation, this is the most current list of centers that are participating in Virginia Quality. So as long as they are on this list, then you can go. And this is the licensing website for Virginia Department of Social Services. So if you are not sure if your center is licensed, then you can go here and check. One thing to keep in mind is that under a new regulation, religious exempt centers are now going to be required to be licensed. So that actually is a good thing, simply because in the past I wasn't able to allow students to go do an observation at a center that was considered religious exempt because they did not have any of the indicators of quality. Now that they have to actually go through the licensing requirements, now you can actually go to these centers that have already started the process of licensing. So just a few things to keep in mind as you're trying to decide where you want to go. So first step is, where am I going to go? Second step is going to be contacting the center, the director, and making sure that it's okay that you come. Again, it'll be about 2 hours, and I highly recommend that you do it in the morning, simply because by the time you get to lunch, it's going to be lunch, it's going to be nap, they're going to be going outside. You're going to not have as much opportunity to see what's going on in the classroom during the afternoon hours. So I would definitely recommend going during the morning. And again, give them the letter that explains everything. So if they have any questions, they can contact me. But basically, you're going to be filling out a checklist. as detailed as possible. Remember, I have not been in every single classroom in this area or in the area that you are in. And so the only way I can see what it is that you actually were able to observe is by what you write. And so that means be as detailed as possible. And once you're done filling out the chart, then you're just going to make sure that you give a good summary of what you thought they did well, what you thought maybe they needed some work on, if you had suggestions for things that they needed to work on. So that concluding section is really important as well. So again, here are your steps, which I just went through. And I did create a template for you, which I've already opened because it was easier to do it that way. But if you look, make sure you fill in all of this important information up here about where did you observe, when did you observe, what age were the children, and I need to know how are they considered high quality. So are they NACCE accredited? Are they participating in Virginia Quality? Are they a part of the old STAR rating system? And or if they're licensed. I will tell you that if a center is NACCE accredited or participating in Virginia Quality, they are also licensed. So you just need to highlight or bold, underline, italicize, do something to let me know how this center is considered high quality. And then if you look on the left-hand side, these are going to be all of the things that you're looking for. And this is why I told you it is extremely important that you review my detailed instructions PowerPoint, because for each one of these, I have created a slide that says, this is what you should see. This is what you are looking for. So for instance, under the handicapped accessible, there's a few things that you need to look for. One is, are the doorways at least 36 inches? That doesn't mean you need to take a measuring stick with you. What it means is, can a wheelchair fit through the door? The other thing that you're supposed to look for is, do the doors have knobs or levers? We want to see that they have levers, because those are easier accessibility for people with any kind of special needs. As you know, doorknobs sometimes can be really difficult to handle. So those are the things that are in my detailed instructions, and that's why it's so important that you review that before you go do your observation. So you'll see that these are just the different things you're looking for. The majority of this section is about the different activity centers, and so again, that's why I asked you to go ahead and start working on this project. And once the projects have been turned in, I'm actually going to post them on Canvas so that everyone has access to the different centers so they can see what information that they may need. But again, my detailed instructions are going to tell you as well. And then I've put the place for the conclusion. I will be honest and tell you that a large portion of your grade comes from this conclusion. So about half of it is going to come from your chart. How detailed are you? I would not put a yes or a no answer. If you did not observe something, it's okay to say not observed, but I would also encourage you, if you don't observe something, to ask the teacher, is this something that you have? Is this something that you do? Just because that gives you even more information to be able to put in your conclusion. So again, about half is coming from what do you have in your chart, how detailed are you, how well did you look for what you were supposed to look for with each of these indicators, and then the other half really is coming from your conclusion. So most conclusions are going to be at least a paragraph. I would expect it would be longer than that, but if it only has 1 or 2 sentences, then that's not considered an adequate conclusion. So I think that that hopefully explains everything for the observation. Again, just don't forget that your participation for this week is going to be just to send me an email letting me know what has had the most impact on you so far. And other than that, go ahead and start working on trying to find a place to start and do your observation, as well as continue working on your activity center project. So congratulations on making it halfway through the course, and I will see you in week 9.